The fleet drifted silently through the cold darkness of space. Stars glittered like distant fires, but the emptiness around them felt heavy, almost alive. Commander Elias stood on the bridge of the flagship Horizon, his hands gripping the console as if it could hold back the unknown ahead. The human fleet had ventured further than ever before, into a sector no one had ever mapped. They were explorers, scientists, and soldiers, but even their confidence was fading. "Commander, I'm picking up a signal," Lieutenant Mira said, her voice tight with concern. "It's unusual. Not any language we recognize." Elias leaned closer. The signal was weak but persistent. Strange symbols blinked across the screen, forming patterns that seemed almost alive. "Could it be a distress call?" he asked, though the pit in his stomach told him otherwise. "No, sir," Mira replied. "It's more like a warning." The bridge went quiet. Every officer stared at the screens, the hum of machinery suddenly deafening. Nobody wanted to speak, afraid that words might break the fragile calm. Outside, stars passed in silent procession, indifferent to the tiny human ships threading through the vast unknown. "Put it on all channels," Elias ordered. The symbols repeated, flickering faster, like a heartbeat. Then, a deep, distorted voice echoed through the fleet's communication systems. It was not a language anyone could understand, yet somehow the message sank into their minds. "You should not be here." The crew shivered. It was not just a warning. It was a promise. Something waited in the darkness, and it did not welcome them. "Commander," the science officer called, her hands flying across her console. "These readings, the energy signatures are off the charts. Nothing we know in this galaxy has this much power." Elias's eyes narrowed. "How close are they?" "They're not here yet, but they are watching. Every ship, every movement," she said. "And they are bigger than anything we imagined." Suddenly, a shadow moved across the sensors. Something massive, but too fast to track properly. The fleet's formation tensed. Fighters lifted off, ready to defend, even though nobody knew what they were defending against. "Scan again," Elias barked. "Full spectrum. All sensors active." The bridge crew obeyed, fingers dancing over controls. Screens filled with data, showing blips, waves, and strange energy distortions. It was like staring at a storm in slow motion. And then, in the corner of his vision, Elias saw it. A shape larger than the horizon, dark and elegant, moving with precision and purpose. Lieutenant Jaron, standing near him, swallowed hard. "Sir, that's impossible." Elias didn't answer. His stomach knotted as he stared at the shadow, which now seemed to split into multiple forms, circling the fleet with terrifying grace. These were not ships, at least not like human ships. They moved as if thinking together, anticipating every human maneuver before it happened. "Raise shields. Prepare for evasive maneuvers," Elias commanded. "And get me the fleet commander on the comm." The fleet responded immediately. Engines roared, sending bursts of light into the void. Humans were fast, but compared to these beings, they felt fragile. Every move seemed predicted, every escape route blocked before it could even be chosen. Myra's voice trembled. "Commander, they know what we will do before we do it." Elias clenched his jaw. "Then we will do something they don't expect." He didn't know what yet, but there was no turning back. Once humans crossed this part of space, they had entered the territory of the deadliest beings in the universe. Every instinct screamed to flee, but curiosity and pride held them in place. The unknown could kill them, yes, but it also called to them, whispering secrets of power, survival, and the vast, dangerous universe beyond. The shadow loomed closer. The fleet held its breath as sensors registered immense energy, far beyond the capability of any human weapon. The air in the command room felt heavier, though space itself was a vacuum. The crew's hearts pounded, not from fear alone, but from awe. This was no ordinary enemy. This was a force older than many stars, and humanity had stumbled into its path. "Commander," a voice broke the tension. It was the youngest pilot, barely 20, her hands white on the controls. They are not attacking. Not yet. But they are testing us." Elias nodded slowly. He had heard legends of such beings, whispers in old star charts about species that devoured worlds, that crushed civilizations without mercy. He had hoped they were myths. Now, facing the darkness, he knew they were real. And worse, they had seen humanity. "Hold formation," he ordered. "Do not fire unless we are forced. Observe. Learn. Survive." Outside, the massive shadow circled, a predator curious about its prey. The fleet shivered under its gaze, small and fragile, yet alive, defiant, human. And as the stars wheeled silently around them, the fleet moved forward into the unknown, carrying the fragile hope of a species that had never faced anything like this before. The first contact had been made, and the deadliest beings in the universe were watching. The fleet moved cautiously through the star system, engines humming softly in the cold void. Every ship was on high alert, scanners sweeping in all directions. Commander Elias stood at the bridge of horizon, eyes fixed on the main screen. Shadows flickered in the distance, shapes that did not belong to any human design. "Sir, visual contact," Lieutenant Mira said, her voice trembling slightly. "Multiple objects, massive, moving fast." The screen cleared, showing enormous alien vessels. They were dark, sleek, almost organic in shape, with glowing lines that pulsed like veins. Each ship seemed alive, not built but grown. Elias felt a chill. Humanity had never faced anything like this. "They're watching us," the science officer whispered. "They're observing every move, every change in formation. It's intelligent, coordinated." Elias nodded. "Keep scanners active. Keep distance. Do not engage unless necessary." Outside the viewport, the alien ships moved in silence, circling the human fleet like predators encircling prey. Every attempt to scan them fully was met with strange energy waves, causing screens to flicker and distort. The fleet's communication channels were filled with static and whispers, unintelligible but somehow unsettling. "Commander, they're not attacking yet," Mira said. "But they are testing us. Every move we make is anticipated." Elias clenched his fists. "Then we must be unpredictable. I want every pilot ready. Evasive formations. Decoy ships on standby." Suddenly, one of the alien ships broke formation, moving directly toward the human fleet at incredible speed. The crew tensed. It was too fast to be a normal vessel. Before anyone could react, it emitted a wave of energy, a pulse that rippled through space. Human shields shuddered, lights flickered, and alarms blared. "Impact registered," the tactical officer reported. "Minimal damage, but it was a warning." Elias felt a cold knot in his stomach. These beings didn't just possess immense power, they understood tactics, anticipation, and fear. Humans were being tested, not attacked. "Do not panic," Elias said firmly, though his voice carried the weight of tension. "Observe. Learn. Prepare for what's next." The alien ship halted abruptly, hovering silently. Then, slowly, it rotated, revealing a pattern of glowing symbols across its hull. They were similar to the warning signal they had received earlier, but this time larger, brighter, and more intense. It was not language. It was a message. One that the human mind could only sense as danger and curiosity. Mira leaned closer to the console. "It's communicating. Not in words but in thought. We can feel its intent." Elias swallowed hard. The fleet was small, fragile, but the crew felt a strange thrill beneath their fear. They were facing the unknown. The unknown was vast, deadly, and older than any human imagination, but it had noticed them. "Fleet, maintain formation," Elias ordered. "Keep shields up. Engines on maximum readiness. Every pilot, stay sharp." The alien ships began to move in patterns, herding the human fleet toward the system's center. It was subtle, almost elegant, yet terrifying. Every path forward seemed blocked, every escape anticipated. The humans realized they were being studied, like prey in a controlled hunt. "Sir, they're corralling us," Lieutenant Jaron said, voice tight. "If we don't act fast." Elias did not finish the thought. He didn't need to. The fleet was surrounded by shapes that seemed to anticipate every human action. Outside, the alien ships shimmered with energy, almost like they were breathing. Every second stretched into eternity. Then, without warning, a human fighter broke formation, attempting to flank one of the alien vessels. Sensors screamed warnings as the ship moved too close. The alien reacted instantly, sending a wave of energy that stopped the fighter in midspace. It wasn't destroyed. Not yet. But it was immobilized, shaking violently, as if the ship itself were alive and resisting. The bridge fell silent. The lesson was clear. These beings did not destroy immediately. They tested, measured, and judged. Humans were small, fragile, and unpredictable. They were fascinating. Elias straightened. Prepare a counter-move. We will show them humanity is not so easily contained. Set up decoys. Split the fleet. They expect conformity. We will give chaos. Myra's hands flew over her console, launching small drones that emitted false signals, designed to confuse the aliens. The ship split into unexpected patterns, moving with irregular timing. For a brief moment, it worked. The alien formation hesitated, analyzing. It was subtle, but enough to give the humans a small advantage. Now, maintain unpredictability, Elias said. We may not win, but we will survive. Observe everything. Learn everything. Outside, the stars seemed indifferent, cold witnesses to the dance of predator and prey. The alien ship circled, watching, waiting, and calculating. The humans were small and fragile, yet alive, defiant, and clever. And in the darkness, the fleet realized that first contact was not merely a meeting, it was a test. The deadliest beings in the universe had noticed humanity, and humanity had not yet fully realized the danger they had stepped into. Every move from this point forward could mean survival or annihilation. Elias's eyes hardened. We will survive. We have no choice. And with that, the human fleet plunged deeper into the uncharted star system, entering the hunting grounds of creatures beyond comprehension, knowing that the first encounter had only just begun. The human fleet raced through the star system, engines blazing, leaving trails of light across the dark void. Commander Elias watched the screens intently. Every sensor beeped warnings, showing alien vessels closing in, faster than any human ship could move. The fleet was small, fragile, but alive, and for now, determination kept fear at bay. They're gaining on us, sir, Lieutenant Mira said, voice tight. They're faster than anything we've encountered. They can anticipate our every move. Elias clenched his fists. We expected this. We planned for it. Keep formation tight, but stay unpredictable. Every ship must act like it's alone. Outside, the massive alien shapes moved with deadly precision. They didn't fire weapons yet. They didn't need to. Their mere presence created pressure, an invisible force that seemed to push and corner the human ships. Pilots felt their stomachs tighten, instincts screaming danger, yet no weapon had touched them. Commander, Jaren called, pointing at the screen. They're splitting the fleet. One group is moving around us, trying to herd us toward that asteroid field. Elias's eyes narrowed. Good. That's a trap. Everyone, stay alert. We're going to use it against them. The fleet twisted, rolling through the asteroid field, ships weaving between massive rocks that floated silently in zero gravity. The aliens followed, moving like shadows slipping through cracks. Energy pulses radiated from their hulls, distorting sensors and shaking shields. It was not an attack, but a test of endurance, skill, and nerves. Myra's hands flew over her console. Shields holding, but not for long. They're anticipating every evasive maneuver. We can't outrun them. Elias swallowed hard. Then we outsmart them. Split into unpredictable patterns. Use decoys, drones, anything to confuse them. Small human drones zipped ahead, emitting false signals that mimicked real ships. The aliens hesitated for a moment, analyzing, recalculating. It was just enough time for a few human fighters to slip through narrow gaps in the asteroid field. The tension on the bridge was palpable. Every second could be the last. Commander, Mira said quietly, it's like they can read our thoughts. Every plan we make, they know. Every move we execute, they anticipate. Elias nodded, jaw tight. Then we must act without thinking. Instinct, speed, chaos. That is our advantage. They are precise. We are unpredictable. Outside, explosions of energy flared from the alien vessels, not aimed to destroy, but to herd, to test, to probe. Human pilots screamed as their ships shook violently, barely avoiding collisions with asteroids or each other. Every moment was life and death, but every pilot held their nerve, every human ship alive and defiant. A fighter broke formation, diving toward a massive alien ship, firing decoys and flares. The alien reacted instantly, energy rippling across its hull, stopping the fighter in mid-space. It wobbled, but didn't explode. Instead, it was nudged back into the main human formation, as if the alien was teaching them a lesson. "They're studying us," Jaren said, voice low. "They're learning how we fight, how we think. Every action we take is recorded in some way." Elias's eyes scanned the displays. The fleet was still intact, but just barely. Ships were close to collisions, shields flickered under stress, and pilots were reaching their limits. Yet, something remarkable was happening. Despite fear, despite the impossible odds, humanity was surviving. "Hold your nerve," Elias said. "Do not panic. We are not defeated. Not yet." The alien fleet shifted suddenly, splitting into new patterns, cutting off escape routes. Human ships darted between asteroids, weaving in impossible maneuvers. For a brief moment, the fleet seemed trapped, surrounded by immense, intelligent predators. And then Elias acted. "Full speed to the center of the field. Everyone follow my lead." The human fleet surged, dodging asteroids with near-perfect timing. Drones created false trails, energy pulses confused alien sensors, and fighters executed unpredictable spins. For a tense moment, the aliens were thrown off, breaking formation, their precise patterns faltering. Myra's face lit with a mix of fear and relief. "It worked. They're hesitating." Elias didn't relax. "Hesitation is temporary. Keep moving. Every second counts." The chase continued, the fleet battered but alive. Outside, stars were indifferent witnesses to the deadly dance of predator and prey. Energy pulses flashed, ships maneuvered with lightning speed, and the humans realized something profound. They were small, fragile, but alive. And alive meant hope. "Sir," Jaren said, pointing at the main screen, "the alien leader, it's observing. Seems interested. Not attacking yet, but focused on the fleet's movements." Elias took a deep breath. "Then we continue. We survive, we learn, we adapt. They may be the deadliest beings in the universe, but humanity does not give up. Not now, not ever." The fleet pressed forward, deeper into the asteroid field, using every trick, every maneuver, every ounce of courage to stay alive. The aliens watched, calculated, and anticipated, but humans had something unexpected: unpredictability, bravery, and the will to survive. As the chase stretched on, the crew of the Horizon realized one thing clearly. The deadliest beings in the universe were relentless, but so were humans. And this was only the beginning. The fleet had survived the first chase, but tension hung in the air like thick fog. On the bridge of the Horizon, Commander Elias rubbed his temples. Every screen showed alien movement, energy pulses, and strange patterns that defied human understanding. The crew was exhausted, but there was no time to rest. The deadliest beings in the universe were watching, waiting, learning. "Commander," the science officer said, her voice tense but steady, "we've been analyzing their maneuvers. It's more than strategy. It's coordination. Telepathic, I think. Every ship moves as if it can anticipate the others. And now us." Elias frowned. "Telepathic? You mean they can read our minds?" "Not literally," she said, "but almost. Their reactions suggest they know what we will do before we do it. Every split-second decision, every maneuver, every change in speed or direction, it's calculated instantly and countered." Lieutenant Myra's fingers flew over the console. "It's terrifying. We try to be unpredictable, but they adapt immediately. If we make one mistake, it could end everything." Elias nodded slowly. "Then we don't make mistakes. And we learn from them. Observe everything. Record every move. Study patterns. If we can understand them, we might survive." The bridge went silent as sensors picked up another movement. A massive alien ship glided toward the fleet, its hull glowing with pulsing energy. It didn't attack immediately. Instead, it rotated slowly, almost deliberately, displaying strange symbols across its surface. These symbols were familiar. They matched the warning from the first encounter, but now they were larger, more complex, almost hypnotic. "They're communicating," Elias said, his voice low. "Not with words, but with intent, with thought. We can feel it, even if we can't understand it." The science officer leaned over the console, eyes wide. "It's like they're studying us, testing our reactions, learning how we think. They're not mindless killers. They're intelligent and very patient." Elias took a deep breath. "Then we'll use that. We'll learn too. Every move we make, every decision we take, must teach us something about them." Mira nodded. "We've already started. Our drones are observing reactions, measuring energy output, movement speed, and direction changes. We're building a pattern database. But it's complex, far beyond anything we've seen." The alien ship pulsed again, sending waves of energy that distorted the sensors. The fleet shivered, shields glowing under pressure. Pilots gripped their controls tightly, nerves taut. Every second was a test. Every maneuver could mean survival or destruction. Elias's voice cut through the tension. "Prepare a probe. Send it close, but unmanned. We need to know how they react. Observe everything." A small drone launched from the horizon, weaving carefully between alien vessels. The crew held their breath as the probe moved closer, scanning the alien hull, recording energy pulses, and mapping its movements. The alien ship reacted instantly, shifting positions with uncanny speed. The probe was shaken but survived. "Data is coming in," the science officer said, eyes wide. "They respond almost instantly to every change in position. They're learning. But our probe is giving us clues. We can see patterns forming." Elias leaned closer. "Patterns?" "Yes," she said, pointing at the screen. "Every energy pulse, every maneuver, every split-second reaction. It's not random. There's a rhythm, a system. If we can understand it, we can predict their moves, or at least survive longer." Outside, the alien ship seemed to shimmer with awareness, moving in a slow, deliberate dance. "They were deadly, yes, but intelligent. They studied humans as much as humans studied them." It was a dangerous mirror, every human action reflected in alien strategy. Mira whispered, "It's like a chess game, but the board is infinite, and the pieces are alive." Elias's eyes hardened. "Then we play the game. But we play smarter. We cannot beat them head-on. We must think, adapt, and survive. That is our strength." The crew worked feverishly, combining data from the probe, the drones, and direct observation. Every pulse, every maneuver, every reaction was recorded. The humans began to see patterns emerging, predictable intervals, repeated responses, and subtle weaknesses. It was not much, but it was something. "Sir," Jaren said, pointing at a screen, "we might have an edge." They respond immediately to predictable moves, but chaotic, unexpected actions slow them down. Just enough for us to escape or counterattack. Elias nodded slowly. "Then we use chaos. Unpredictability is our weapon. Observation is our shield. We survive by thinking, adapting, and daring. That is human nature. That is what sets us apart." Outside, the alien ships pulsed and shifted, circling the human fleet. They had noticed humanity, tested humanity, and now, in a silent way, they were curious. Humans were small, fragile, but alive. And alive meant possibility. "Prepare the fleet," Elias ordered. "We will continue, but now with purpose. Every maneuver, every move, is a lesson. And every lesson is survival." The stars wheeled silently around them as the human fleet pressed onward. The deadliest beings in the universe were watching, calculating, learning. But humanity was watching too, learning, adapting, and surviving. And in that endless darkness, a fragile hope glimmered. Humans might not defeat the deadliest beings, but they could endure. The first step had been survival. The next would be understanding. And in the universe, understanding was power. The tension inside the human fleet had reached its highest point. Every crew member knew the truth now. The aliens were stronger, faster, and smarter. But something else had also become clear. Despite all their power, The aliens were not perfect. They hesitated whenever humans acted without pattern. They slowed when chaos replaced strategy. It was a small weakness, but humans had survived many hopeless battles with less. Commander Elias stood at the center of the Horizon's bridge, studying the holographic map. Alien ships surrounded the fleet like a tightening net. Every path forward was blocked, and every escape route was predicted. The crew waited for his order, fear and determination burning together in their eyes. "We attack," Elias said finally. The bridge fell silent. Mira stared at him. "Sir, attack? Against them?" Elias nodded. "Not directly. Not with strength. With unpredictability. With chaos. They expect us to run. They expect fear. So we give them something else." Jaren spoke before he could stop himself. "They will crush us." "Maybe," Elias replied calmly. "But doing nothing will end us anyway. We must show them that humans are not prey. We must break their expectations." The science officer stepped forward. "Commander, if we combine the drones with our decoys, we can create false fleet signatures. It will appear as if we are attacking from multiple directions." Elias smiled faintly. "Exactly. They will try to counter every direction at once. Their coordination will stretch. Their reactions will slow. And then, we strike." The plan was insane, risky, and desperate. But it was human. Outside, the alien ships pulsed with dark energy, drifting slowly in perfect formation. They watched and waited. Mira activated the fleet-wide communication system. All ships prepare for rapid maneuver. Drones launching in 30 seconds. Fighters ready for chaos formation. Pilots reported in one after another, voices steady but tense. Engines powered up, drones armed, and the entire fleet hummed with nervous electricity. They were about to fight beings that civilizations older than humanity had feared, and lost to. The countdown hit 0. A swarm of drones shot from the human ships, splitting into dozens of directions. Each drone projected a false signature, creating the illusion of full-sized battleships. On the alien sensors, the human fleet suddenly tripled in size. And for the first time, the alien formation hesitated. "Now!" Elias ordered. The human ships broke formation, scattering in chaotic patterns. No straight lines. No predictable moves. One ship spun violently and shot upward. Another dove into a cluster of asteroids. Two cruisers accelerated toward opposite sides of the alien circle, forcing the aliens to divide attention. The aliens reacted instantly, but for the first time, not perfectly. "One of their ships slowed down," Mira said, eyes wide. "They can't track all targets at once." Elias nodded. "Keep pushing. Make them choose. Make them think." The alien ships shifted rapidly, beams of energy ripping through the void. Several drones exploded instantly, scattering debris. But the human ships were real, moving in wild zigzags, shifting speed suddenly, diving through narrow gaps. A human fighter darted toward an alien ship, firing flares and decoys. The alien vessel responded with a pulse, but missed by meters. "They're confused," Jaren shouted. "It's working." Elias didn't allow himself to celebrate. "Focus fire on the weakest one. Only when they're off balance." 3 human ships charged forward, firing concentrated bursts at a single alien vessel. Their weapons barely scratched the alien hull, but that wasn't the point. The aliens reacted with urgency. Too much urgency. "They shifted formation," Mira said. "They left a gap." Elias did not hesitate. "Fighters, go through that gap now." 5 human fighters shot through the opening before the aliens could close it. The gap sealed behind them, but it was too late. The humans were inside the alien formation, where the aliens had not expected an attack. The fighters spiraled, surrounding a smaller alien ship from all sides. They unleashed their full arsenal: missiles, beams, and EMP charges. The alien ship pulsed violently, energy flickering like a dying star. "It's weakening," Jaren yelled. "We're actually hurting it." The alien ship emitted a final burst of energy, then went dark. Lifeless. Motionless. The bridge went silent. A human ship had just defeated one of the deadliest beings in the universe. Mira whispered, almost in disbelief. We did it. But Elias's face remained hard. Don't celebrate yet. Look. Every alien ship around them had stopped moving. Not in defeat, but in attention. They had noticed the kill. And now, their curiosity had changed into something far more dangerous. The alien ships pulsed with blinding energy, brighter than before, like predators finally taking a hunt seriously. Jaren swallowed. Sir, we made them angry. Elias breathed deeply. Good. Now they know humanity can fight back. And now they will show us their real strength. Everyone be ready. Outside, the alien fleet began to move again, faster, sharper, deadlier than before. The counterattack had worked, but it had awakened the storm. The dark space around the human ship felt heavier than before. Every alien sensor, every silent watcher, and every hidden enemy in the sector knew that the humans were still alive, still fighting, and now moving toward the core of the threat. Captain Rian stood on the command deck, watching the star map glow with red enemy signals forming a loose ring around them. It looked like a trap, but he did not step back. He only breathed slowly and said, "We go forward." The crew trusted him. They had crossed death so many times already that fear no longer controlled them. But even then, everyone on the bridge felt the pressure. The deadliest beings in the universe, the ones the galaxy feared, the ones the humans had now challenged. There was no turning back. The ship moved through the quiet sector, engines humming softly. Outside the windows, pieces of destroyed alien warships floated like frozen ghosts. The whole galaxy was watching this moment. Every race that once believed humans were weak now waited, afraid of what humans might do next. A soft warning tone rang across the bridge. The AI spoke, multiple vessels approaching at high speed. Rian's eyes narrowed. Identify. Unknown design. High-energy signatures. They matched the enemy, fully armed. The crew turned tense. The ship lights dimmed to combat mode. Soldiers ran into the corridors, locking armor plates and checking weapons. The air tasted like metal and adrenaline. The first alien ship came out of warp with a blast of blue fire. It was huge, twice the size of the human vessel, built from black metal that swallowed light. Its hull was covered with sharp angles and glowing symbols that looked alive. It moved like a predator. Then a second one appeared. Then a third. The space around the humans filled with enemy ships, circling slowly, tightening the ring. The crew knew what this meant. The strongest enemy ships had come. The beings who ruled war and death had sent their elite forces. This was a test, or maybe an execution. Rian stood tall. He did not blink. They want a fight, he said. Fine. They will get one. But the enemy ships did not fire. They waited. It was more frightening than an attack. It felt like the enemy was studying them, deciding if humans were worth killing or worth fearing. Then the communication screen lit up. An alien figure appeared. Its body looked like a mixture of shadow and armor. Its eyes glowed a deep gold, like burning suns. Its voice echoed like a storm trapped inside a cave. "Human captain," it said. "You have crossed our territory. You have destroyed our patrol. You have changed the balance of this galaxy." Rian's voice remained calm. "Your forces attacked us first." "You exist," the alien replied, "and that is threat enough." The crew shivered. Every alien race said humans were dangerous, but hearing it from the rulers of war themselves was different. The alien leaned closer to the screen. "You should not be alive. Yet you stand. So we offer one question before judgment." Rian folded his hands behind his back. "Ask. Why do you march into our space? Why challenge the deadliest forces in existence?" Rian did not even think. His answer was clear. Because someone sent a distress signal. Someone asked for help. Humans don't ignore that. The entire bridge went silent. The alien stared for a long moment. Then it laughed. The sound was deep and harsh. "You come into our domain because of a signal?" Rian nodded. "Yes." "To save a stranger?" "Yes." The alien's expression changed, just slightly. Maybe shock. Maybe respect. "You are strange creatures," it said. "You kill without fear. You protect without reason. You refuse to run. Rian stepped closer to the screen. And we don't break. The alien did not reply for several seconds. Then the screen went dark. Space stayed silent. Everyone waited. Then, suddenly, the enemy ships powered up weapons. Red lights filled the bridge. The AI shouted, "They are charging cannons." Rian raised his hand. Shields full. Engines ready. The crew moved with lightning speed. Energy crackled around the ship's hull. The floor vibrated as power surged through the engines. The enemy ships aimed all their cannons at the humans. A single mistake would destroy everything. But the humans would not break. The alien voice returned, this time calm, almost thoughtful. "Human captain, survive this test, and the galaxy will never forget your kind." The enemy ships fired. Bright beams lit the darkness. Explosions echoed across the sector. The first hit shook the ship so hard that several crew fell to the floor. Sparks flew from the ceiling. The shields screamed under pressure. "Hold them!" Rian shouted. The second blast hit. The third. The ship shook like it was being torn apart. But it did not collapse. Humans held. Every console flickered, but stayed alive. Every shield cracked, but did not fall. Rian stood in the center of the chaos, eyes burning with determination. "Return fire!" The human ship fired back. One focused, perfect shot. The energy beam tore through the nearest alien ship, cutting it open like paper. The explosion lit the entire starfield. The enemy fleet fell silent. Then the alien leader spoke one final time. "Impressive, human. We will meet again." And the enemy ships vanished into warp. The crew slowly breathed. They were alive. But everyone knew the truth. This was only the beginning. The human fleet drifted in silence, the stars around them glowing softly, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Every ship had suffered damage, every pilot had faced death. Yet somehow, humanity had survived. Commander Elias stood on the bridge of the horizon, hands gripping the railing, staring out at the void. The enemy had vanished, but their presence lingered, like a shadow over the fleet. Mira approached, her face pale but determined. "They're gone for now." Elias nodded slowly. "For now. But they will return. And when they do, we need to be ready." The crew had no time to celebrate. Systems needed repairs, shields required reinforcement, and the fighters that had survived the chase needed fuel and energy recalibration. Yet, amid the exhaustion, there was a quiet sense of victory. Humans had faced the deadliest beings in the universe, and had lived to see another day. Lieutenant Jaren leaned over the holographic map. "Commander, the aliens, they're not just retreating. They're learning. Every move we made, every tactic they recorded. If we want to survive next time, we need a new plan." Elias's eyes narrowed. "Then we prepare. Observation is our weapon. Unpredictability our shield. Humanity does not surrender, even to the strongest enemy." Outside the fleet, the stars stretched into long trails as the ships moved toward a safe zone. Suddenly, the sensors beeped. An anomaly. A massive energy signature was approaching. The fleet tensed. Could it be the aliens returning for another strike? "No," Mira said, checking the readings. "It's something else. Not hostile, not yet. But powerful." Elias focused. "Show me." On the screen appeared a massive object, a derelict structure, floating between stars, ancient and silent. Its size was unimaginable, stretching for kilometers. The energy readings were immense, older than anything human science had catalogued. It pulsed with a slow rhythm, like a heartbeat. This could be a station, or something older," the science officer whispered. "A relic from a civilization long gone. Or maybe a weapon." Elias's mind raced. "We cannot ignore it. We need to investigate, gather data. Humanity's survival depends on knowledge, not fear." The fleet approached cautiously. As they drew near, the structure revealed intricate designs and glowing symbols, echoes of the alien technology they had encountered. It was silent, lifeless, yet almost sentient. Mira spoke softly. "It's like it's waiting for something, or someone." Elias nodded. Then we give it a reason to wake. Carefully, step by step, the fleet sent out probes, drones, and scanning pulses. Data streamed in, energy readings, structural maps, and cryptic symbols. For the first time, humans felt a mixture of awe and fear. They were not just explorers or fighters anymore. They were the first species in history to interact with something that had survived countless galactic epochs. Suddenly, a pulse of energy swept through the fleet. Shields flared, engines faltered, and every crew member felt a deep vibration in their bones. It was not an attack. It was a greeting. The science officer gasped. "It's aware. It knows we're here." Elias's lips pressed together. "Then we must prove that humanity is worth noticing. Not with destruction, but with courage, ingenuity, and persistence. That is what makes us human." The fleet carefully maneuvered around the relic, sending smaller ships inside its gaps, recording data, and mapping the massive structure. The pulse repeated, slower now, almost approving. Humans had survived the deadliest beings. They had shown resilience. They had adapted, learned, and fought. As they pulled back from the relic, Elias addressed the fleet. "Today we survived against impossible odds. We faced creatures that civilizations feared, and we stood our ground. Humanity is alive. We endure. We adapt. And one day, we will rise stronger than ever." The crew felt a surge of pride. They were battered, tired, and scarred, but alive. The horizon and the fleet were small against the cosmos, yet in that moment, they felt infinite. Mira smiled faintly. "They watched us, and they learned. But so did we. We have survived the impossible." Elias looked out into the stars, his voice calm but full of certainty. "This is only the beginning. The universe is vast. The deadliest beings may return. But humanity will not bow. We will meet every challenge, face every threat, and endure. That is who we are." And as the fleet moved onward, deeper into uncharted space, the stars seemed brighter, not because of their light, but because humanity had survived against the impossible. The galaxy would remember this day. Humanity had faced the deadliest beings in existence, and had not only survived, they had proven that the human spirit was a force no predator, no empire, and no ancient terror could ever fully destroy. The fleet sailed onward, alive, united, and ready. The deadliest beings in the universe had tested humanity, and humanity had triumphed.